Backward never.
Welcome to Backroad Trips. I recently embarked on a 14-day road trip from the sunny shores of Florida to Utah, Colorado, and back. The first leg of the journey took me through Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. On day one, I crossed the Alabama and Mississippi state lines to complete an 870-mile drive to Jackson, Mississippi. I had an early start on day two and was able to cross the mighty Mississippi River just after sunrise. My plan was to cover as many miles as possible in the first 3 days. Luckily, I gained good ground on the first day, which took some pressure off day two. I still had some way to go, which meant there was not much time to explore Louisiana and Texas. I love Texas and I hope to make it back here soon. I managed to make it to Oklahoma and by chance discovered the Wichita Mountains Wildlife Refuge area. After a 607-mile drive on day two, I was excited to set up my first camp at Doris Campground. The campground is situated in a beautiful area, but unfortunately it was pretty busy. My plan for day three was to try and make it to New Mexico. Shortly after leaving, I ran across a herd of American bison. This is the first time I had ever seen roaming bison, and it was a real treasure to be so close to them. The Wichita Mountain Wild Refuge area boasts roaming bison, prairie dogs, long-haul cattle, elk, and deer. With less miles to cover on day three, I decided to take as many back roads as possible and made my way to Elk City to visit a section of Route 66. The Casa Grande Hotel in Elk City opened in 1928 to lodge the growing number of travelers on the Route 66 highway. From Elk City, I continued west and crossed back into Texas and made my way to Amarillo. From there, I headed northwest to New Mexico. After a couple of hours of driving through the plains, I discovered the Kiowa National Grasslands Park, and the map indicated that there were some campsites. After making my way through some farm gates, I started to look for the Mills Canyon campground. I was a bit confused about the canyon part as the area was pretty flat and there were no mountains or hills to be seen. A little further, I stumbled across the canyon. The Mills Canyon Remote Campground is part of the Canadian River Canyon. It looked like there were some dispersed campsites near the rim, but it was pretty windy up there. It seemed I had to make my way down into the canyon and towards the Canadian River to find a campsite for the night. It was a beautiful drive into the canyon with some interesting switchbacks. The Canadian River level was extremely low, but there were ample flood warning signs around. There were some other disconcerting warnings posted as well. I especially enjoyed the bear country warning with the instruction to fight back aggressively. Mills Campground is a must-visit location. I was the only person there and I was lucky enough to see some wildlife. The campsites and views are amazing. It was a great way to end day 3 after completing 387 miles of driving. In the next episode, I'll be heading up to Colorado and then through to Utah.
Backward never.